Welcome to another edition of Inspired Discussions, where we challenge the way you think, shattering status quos while increasing your self worth. They call me Sibley, and I'm with my co-host.
Remy, realizing energy made me.
What's
Aloha,
going?
sir.
What's good, brother? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I know y'all missed this. Sorry for the brief intermission. We just had to, I guess, what would you call it, Remy?
Recoup,
Yeah, let's
regroup.
call it. Yep. I love it. We had to regroup because we at a point where we want to present just the best product, and I felt like um, we needed to just take a couple weeks off and regroup and
Yeah,
come up
brief
with a better
intermission.
brief intermission and come up with a better what we call it, podcast structure,
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
of the content that we given.
Kind of similar to our last episode talking about restructure, refocusing for the year.
Was
So
that
we just made it happen.
that's up? You know what? That
What's
was
that?
the last episode.
Yeah.
That it was all over the place, wasn't it? I think it was. Hey, that's
You know
that's
what?
so
You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's probably in there somewhere though. But
no. I think that was the last episode, all over the place, if I'm not mistaken, because
they don't got you.
hey, dang, that just hit me. That's just so amazing. Well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So listen, everybody, this is what we're gonna talk about today.
Dun, dun,
So,
dun.
I always find ways to take things out of my life and bring them back to the podcast. So maybe a couple months ago, Cherish, asked me about no, she told me she was like she need more reassurance to let me know like I got her back, and I kind of looked at her. I was like, what the heck you mean? You need reinsurance? I got your back. Like I ain't been nowhere, in X amount of years, this and this, that and that or whatnot.
Right.
So, and that was my initial reaction. But then once I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, if that's all she asks, and I'm like, what does it matter? I just do it more if that's all it is. So, that was that.
Mm.
And then got involved in another, situation, just building a relationship or whatnot. And this person, was basically wanted the same thing, and and it was appreciative of the same thing, of the reinsurance. And I'm like, these two different situations. Like, as me and Cherish got years, and this situation still young, but it's still needed or whatnot.
Right.
And then y'all know me, so I took it to another deeper level on that. When I was like, man, I'm like, we need to give ourselves reassurance at times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, man, I love that we prep, because I thought about it. I thought about it more at a deeper level, and I'm like, dang, but what do that reinsurance look like at times?
That's what I'm sitting here thinking about. I'm like, is that
Here it goes.
As soon as you said that, I'm breaking it down so many ways. But go ahead and finish what you gonna say. I'm gonna see if I could tie in what I'm thinking.
Yeah, here it go. This what it looked like. I came in, we talked about we even talked about just how I feel more within myself, and I'm just flowing, just vibrating different, and I just feel like I can be me. I'm free.
Yeah.
And one of those reasons that I can be that way is because I told myself, I was like, anytime I reach moments where I'm thinking about my dad and I want to cry, let that shit out, let it go, let yourself be human in that moment.
Yeah.
Because you seen what it does to you when you keep it in. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, that's the way of giving myself reassurance, letting myself know, like, look, it's okay, dude. Like, this is a safe place here. Like,
Yeah.
you can do this. Like, it's necessary for you to take these take this 10, 15 minutes, just let them flow, wipe the tears out your eyes, and get back to work. But what you
Right.
cannot do is sit here and hold it in and then let it down the line, affect you
Right.
in a detrimental way.
Allowing
So
yourself to get consumed by
so
it.
yeah, that's where I want to take the conversation. Let's go. Let's take it there.
All right. So with that, I still have two thoughts. One being with the reinsurance, I'm pretty sure there are things that we come across in life, and knowing that everybody have their own individual journey, there are still things that we can control and we can't control in regards to reinsurance. But now I'm sitting here wondering, like, okay, what is it? What is an easier way for me to be able to remain aware of the fact that whatever it is that I'm going through or going to come across in my own life, that it also may provide a level of reinsurance. And on the flip side of that, being able to control it, I'm sitting here thinking, what are some things that I can actually do on the regular to provide reinsurance for myself? So those are the two things that I got. And I'm like, I don't know which one to look at more to really engage with properly. Because from what you said, like with that story, I mean, I don't want to say that you didn't have any control over it, but you did. But the fact was, you were still able to reflect on it. But what happened that made it easier for you to reflect on it, you didn't have any control over the initial action, but you was able to reflect on it, and that's your control. So I'm like, what are some things that I can do on my end to keep that awareness at the same time? Because I never thought about that. So it really just got me thinking on that level of how can I stay aware of that?
I think it's gonna sound crazy, but you
Yeah.
stay aware by staying aware. And remember another one of those things I told you I was practicing this year, trusting my first instinct, especially now, because I'm in a place of where I'm at peace and I'm at one within myself. Because man, I have trusted my first instinct on about 4 or 5 different situations just within the first 2 weeks of this month alone, and they have made they all being right. You know what I'm saying? They all
Right.
being right. So I'm like, man, I'm really at a point where now where I don't even have to. I'm not thinking no more. I'm not thinking. I'm in a place where I'm just flowing. I'm flowing with life,
Right. Right.
and when I find myself, overthinking certain situations, I tell myself like, nope, it's gonna come to you. You're not about to over assess on that.
Right.
You absolutely not about to over assess on that.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Got it. All right. Now, yeah. Now you got me thinking about this properly, and I'm still able to reflect on it in regards to myself. So even though it is kind of like what you just said, the fact is, being aware overall, that's just the things simply because you had to be aware of the fact that you was able to engage and be free amongst yourself in the way that you are developed now and the journey that you have to continue to being developed in whatever way. So that freedom now gives you the engagement. I mean, I want to say proper engagement, but the engagement to feel confident and complete the things that you have planned for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah,
It
yeah,
goes to what we was talking about. Now we can get into it where I was like, I'm at a place where I'm free, where I don't feel like I have to always verify and be like, when I use the word universe and be like, God or whatever.
Oh, right.
I don't feel the need to have to do that anymore, because I have fully bought into my own understanding. And if you don't understand that way, that's on you. Like that's not on me. I'm not
Right, right.
gonna put that energy over there, over obsessing on trying to get you to understand it the way that I understand it, that
Bro,
got me free within myself. And that's
right,
what I was telling you. It's like you walk through the door and I'm like, nah, bro, like I kind of felt slighted a little bit. Like, don't do me like that. Like,
right.
I've always been in a room. I've always been in a room.
Respect, respect.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just more comfortable here now. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I'm more comfortable here and letting people know, like, I'm over here in this room. You know what I'm saying? Like, we serving the same thing. I just look at
yeah,
it different than you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? You know,
You
so
know
yeah,
what? That part right there, I don't know what it is, but I will not let that go. How you said that divine energy and that purpose or whatnot, you're not pushing it no more. It's just if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But yet you're gonna remain aware of what's going on in your life. Bro, I swear I feel like I'm doing that all the time, and I know it because I always think about it in the back of my head, like, oh man, they don't get it. But if they really knew, like, how free I feel right now and how happy this makes me, and the pressure that I feel like I never have, I was like, bro, I just want everybody to experience it. But at the same time, you can't force nothing like that, and you can't teach nothing like that. It's one of those moments where you just got to be aware of it and continue to stay in that mode to refill yourself. But I'm like, yo, it's such a great feeling. Like, I want everybody to feel it.
it is, and for me, it is because I didn't mention a lot about, putting the pieces together, and this is a huge one. This is a huge one because in order for in this next chapter in my life that I'm about to go in and step into on a personal level and a professional level,
Mm,
and the decisions I'm gonna have to make, the things that I'm going to face, I have to be one within myself completely, so I'm not getting deterred. I'm not letting those outside things
right,
affect what I believe.
right.
and yeah, man, it's just so necessary. Like I said, I can't talk too much, but I just, yeah, it's just a great time to be alive, as Drake would say in Future.
Yeah, no, for real. That is true.
Yeah, so and then even with that, just with being comfortable in the room, and
Mm,
like I say, I always been here. I said, I told Cherish this morning. I'm like, I finally feel like my calm after the storm has came. Like
mm.
it's fine. Like, because man, I'm just so at peace. I don't want to make this just about me being so at peace, but I
No,
just
but it's
want
such a
people.
great feeling. I get it.
I
I
want
get it.
people. I want people to feel my energy, and I'm like, look,
Right.
if you thinking like you never gonna be at a place where you feel complete happiness and where you feel like you can deal with the things that you can't control, and
Mm-hmm.
just let them go, and just let God deal with it, and just see how it play out, and
Right.
trust your first instincts when certain situations come,
Right.
when you face certain situations. And then once you keep building on, like, trusting that first instinct and it work out, you build on that, and then
Yeah.
as you build on
Yeah.
it, you create a different belief system, man.
Right.
And that's where I'm at, to the point now, over the years, like, I done built on all these things. I created this belief system, but now, like, I'm I have completely convinced myself, like, of my new beliefs, of the way I want to move, and just doing, I done always been a do what the hell I want to type of guy, like, just
Right,
period.
right. Okay.
Or just questioning, it's a
It
reason it's a reason our intro is, where we challenge status quos, no, shatter status quos and
I was
challenge
about
the
to
way
say
you
that.
think.
Can't help you on that one.
Yeah, it's a reason, because that's always been in my spirit. Because I mean, even in
Right.
school, like I was doing it on the class clown tip, but it was some truth in it where I'm like, why is that this way? Like,
Right,
why,
right, right,
and wanting to know, like, why is it done this way?
right.
Who said it had to be this way? Like, who made these rules up? You know what I mean? So
Yo,
that's why I didn't always.
the entire time you sitting here explaining this, like, I don't know why, but I got the entire Matrix movie in my head because that's exactly what it sounds like right now. But it's real though, because it's like like when he was in the Matrix, him starting off, he was like, "What the heck is this?" By the end of the movie, or by the end of 3, whatever, he was like, "Oh, I can do this. I'm more than comfortable with myself and everything else that is around me now. Oh, I'm about to engage with this on the ultimate level, nonstop." They're like, that's
Yeah,
exactly what the
because
Matrix is.
I love it, because as the movie progressed, he began to change his perspective of
Mm-hmm.
what reality was.
Right,
And
exactly.
then, you know what I mean? Because I had watched the Matrix, and it's so amazing, because
I'm about to go back and watch that today now.
absolutely, because it's a good movie to watch, because I kind of think like certain people be the people in the Matrix where it's like, nope,
Bro,
listen, you here to disturb it right now. You hear
man.
you trying to break it. Like, nope, I can't bring my energy down to you. You came out of nowhere. Like, I would never see you again, and you just appeared right here, and you trying to do this to me.
Yo, I'm so about to watch
Oh,
that today. Yes.
so for you to say that, it's like, yeah, like because
Mm.
that's what I'm on, like, because I got the time this year, because then I got the time this year to
He said,
let
I
you
got the
know
time this
I
year.
do. Like, that's what type of time I'm on. At this
Right,
point,
right.
listen, you are not disturbing my peace on no type of level. And I'm gonna let you know just straight out, like, stop it right there. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. No, no, in my
He
mind. You
said, stop.
kill it.
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. You at a 10. I need you back down at a 2. You back down at a 2. Because I might have,
Thanks.
because if
Oh,
I
bro.
take it to 15 on you, I don't want any misunderstandings.
Right.
But
No,
yeah,
I get what you're saying though, and I understand. Like I said, for you to bring it up, and even though you saying you don't want to make it about yourself, like that's the thing though. Like that feeling just makes it like not overwhelming, but it's just, I don't know, greatness. And it's like, bro, y'all gotta experience this. This is the
absolutely.
engagement and the level that you need to be at as an individual, and you can do whatever that's like meant for you. You're going to do it, but it's a difference when you're doing it on the level that you're supposed to be doing it compared to you just doing it. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Right.
bro,
Yeah. And it give you that reinsurance on your journey. Like, if I just stick it out and I just keep grinding it out, and I keep living free, and
right,
without worry, and understand what we was talking about a couple weeks ago, and understand that I'm entitled to this abundance. I'm
right,
entitled to live this abundant lifestyle.
right. See, now that,
I
that's what I was feeding off of yesterday when you brought that up. Because even with the worry part, like I don't even worry, to be honest with you. And like all my reassurance moments, which of course, by I don't know what episode number this is, but I've brought it up several times. Even though I get sick, those are still moments of like recollecting and reassuring myself on things. Though it's out of my control in the beginning because it's always unexpected, but at the end of it, it's like, you know what? I'm appreciative of that. And I still don't even get the worry factor when I'm going through it.
Facts, facts,
So
facts.
it's
And,
like, yeah.
and it's just a part of that, what you saying with the not worrying, about me being so free. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago with when we got into the accident, and Cherish and I roles had reversed. I was the one that was worrying and in my thoughts in my head, and she was the calm one. And
Mm.
I pulled back from that, and I was like, dang, man, like it was that last season that I seen her in. I had never seen her like we had never been like that because it's always in situations I'm the one coaching her. Like, look, we're gonna be good. Like, it's gonna figure
Right,
out. It's gonna
right.
work out for itself. But in this situation, for it was meant to happen, and I love that it happened because it put us in the place that we in today. And
See
oh
now,
man, we at
in
the
with a
sky.
situation like that, when you're in relationships, now with you being free now and understanding that, and on the other end, since you're in a relationship, are you also more aware of the fact of the changes with your partner or whatever it may be as well?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it just goes into what I was telling you, and I guess this kind of snippet when we go live with her in a few weeks or whatnot. It was, man, it was that last season that I seen her in that I knew I'm like, oh, you capable. If I'm not down, if I'm not capable, you capable of handling everything now. Like
Mm.
you you are now like the female version of me.
Oh snap!
Like you are now
Got
like the
two
female,
Andres out here.
you are the female version of me. So hey, it gave me that reassurance. It gave me reassurance, and I'm just now really realizing that's what it was. It gave me reassurance that it's like shit, like we in there now. We in there
Right.
now, and like I was telling you when I was putting all the places where I'm gonna put all this energy, like looking at all
Yeah.
the things I invested in, the things that I need to put more energy into, the things I need to put on the shelf for a minute, and doing all of that. I was like, shoot, she been my biggest investment these past 10 years, this last decade. She been my
Mm.
biggest investment. And when I tell you she is cashing in on that investment, man, that ROI is infinite, bro. Like at
Right.
this
Right.
point, like the ROI on it is infinite, man. You can't put a
Dang,
cash value on it, man. And then it's
bro.
just so
Wow.
amazing because I have been seeing so many things that came into my awareness and just saying like the best thing that you can invest in is a black woman. And I
Oh,
was like
snap, crackle, pop.
like I was really, just I was believing it, but I believe it, of course, because I reposted or whatnot. But I
Right. Right.
really
Right.
didn't really think. I'm like, man, like this investing in her, man, over these years is paying off. And I'm telling you, it ain't been hard, but like that's one easy. But like you
Right.
said,
Right.
like I always say, if it's one thing I'm consistent at, when I don't take on tasks that I don't believe I can complete, flat out, because
What? Wait. What?
I don't take on any task that I don't think I can complete. So if I'm working on something and telling you I'm gonna do something, I know I can complete it and I know I can execute and get the job done. If not, I'm gonna be like, that ain't even my thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I'm not even gonna focus on that.
Okay.
And so because most of the time, if I do anything, I'm gonna be like, I can do this, you know,
Right.
even if I can't. So I just stop myself from the start and be like, I'm
Right.
not even gonna take on that task. So
Either way,
yeah,
you know the things that you're more than confident
yeah,
in
yeah,
completing at the
yeah,
end of the day.
absolutely, absolutely. But to get back on the topic with the reinsurance, I'm like, she she gave me that reinsurance, and I got reinsurance in that situation, and I didn't even know it was something I needed. You know what I mean? I didn't even know. For real, and then
No,
that's
I
just
believe you.
the word that's something because man, I'm like an action guy, man. Like, well, that was action because it was just oh man, it just came so divine, and just now that I'm thinking about it, man, it's just so beautiful and amazing.
Right. Right.
It came at a point where for one, where I didn't know that I needed, I needed it, and that I really, really needed it. You know what I'm saying? At that time,
Mm.
at that time that it came. So I'm like, shit, okay, let's go. I'm like, all
Right.
right, okay. I'm
Bro,
like,
hearing
this,
like this,
this
this
what it's
one
gonna be.
question that popped in my head with this with what you're saying with the relationship, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the response would be for somebody to ask this question to their partner or whoever they're in a relationship with. But the question that I had in my head was, how many people can really ask themselves, if the person that they're in a relationship has also been their greatest investment? I'm like, yo, that's a good question, but it's like, yeah, depending on
I
how you
mean,
answer that, just answer that in your
um,
head.
to me, I just how much time you put in. Like, no, I wouldn't say how much time you put into the relationship because it's been people that put 20 years into a relationship and they haven't
Yeah.
invested 20 years in the relationship. It's a
Yep.
difference from being in the relationship for 20 years and then investing in the
Mm.
relationship for 20 years.
What you mean? You mean
It's a
just
big
being
difference.
there and not
Yeah,
really caring, pretty much?
just existing in the relationship, like, you know, and not understanding because I don't want to. Yeah, our episode to be what it be. I'm just gonna speak. I'm just gonna speak and let just whatever comes to me speak. Because
Okay.
one thing that I always wanted and desired for me and Cher's relationship to be was just that our relationship. You know,
Mm. Mm.
that's why we went so long. Because I told you, man, it was one point where okay, our relationship started, and she was on a traditional chip, marriage, engagement, blah blah blah, this and this.
Yeah.
Then we talked, and I asked her, like, okay, what's the benefits of this? We weighed the cons. We got off of that. I'm like, we good at this. We just gonna do this X, Y, and Z. And then I began to grow, and then I was like, I want to do this and this, and she was like, no, I ain't really even feeling that, like because we just,
Mm.
I'm like, oh, okay. But if that's you change your mind, I'm willing, I'm open to giving it to you. So
Right.
then it evolved to that, and then like now it's just on. Now we to the point it evolved to another level to where we just like, look, we about to take bits and pieces out of the traditional like of the traditional way of doing things, and she want the moment of the engagement. We gonna do an intimate ceremony, but it's not gonna look nothing like was
The traditional.
the traditional way. Like we haven't even really decided if we ever gonna be like quote unquote legally married because I don't care about that last name stuff. Like that shit
I
don't
don't.
matter to me. You know what
Facts.
I'm
Me
saying? Like
neither.
it don't. And the way I'm feeling now, I don't want my name hyphenated on the side of another. Like so, you either Sibley or you keep your last name. Like, but so and I don't
Yeah, I
want
get
that.
it. I'm
You
fine
know,
with that as well.
unless because I'm like, shoot, long as we both got credit scores and social security numbers, like we can grow. You know what I mean?
Right.
We
Right. Right.
grow.
Yeah.
So so
Oh
yeah,
man.
we just to that point now, and it's always ways to protect you through life insurance policies, power of attorneys. You know what I'm saying? If anything
Right.
ever had happened to us through, like, because that's all a marriage do anyway. It tie that person to you legally to be able to handle stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same, I mean, I don't want to go too far off on this, but with what you saying, and more so, I guess I'm more so reason why I'm really agreeing with you on that aspect. It's like all those rules of engagement or whatnot, they can still be established in the relationship themselves. So it's like, why does that
Absolutely,
have to be
absolutely,
through the government?
and
Something like that.
exactly. And what I was, how I got on that, and what I was saying, because I did kind of get off, but I was saying is we always focus on loving each other and making sure we was right. I became the man that she needed me to be, and she became the woman I needed her to be. And
Mm,
we
I
see a
can
lot of
respect that.
relate. We see a lot of relationships now where I'd be like, dang, they've been married for X and X years. Like we can see the unhappiness in relationships. You know what
Facts.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we can see the unhappiness. Like it ain't none of our business, but I'd be looking. I'm like,
it's
yeah, and
easy
I'll
to
be
see. It's
like,
still energy at the end of the day.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And because we
Well,
was on, it's this thing on Facebook of Valentine's going around. Dang, I didn't mean to mention Valentine's, but whatever.
Why?
going around because this episode gonna drop March 3rd, and
Oh,
Valentine's gonna be
oh.
way, way.
Well,
But oh well, it's it's this thing going around where you doing Valentine's and they answering questions, and there's one on there, do you get flowers or whatnot, and a lot of chicks like saying no, he's not romantic at all, and
man,
this and this,
that stuff don't
and
exist no more, bro.
no,
Morals and ethics don't exist.
I don't. Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go
Okay.
that far. And what I was telling Cherish, I'm like, shoot. At one point in time, you didn't either. So you know what I mean. So like, it's just certain people. Like Cherish had to teach me how to love her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like she had to teach me how to love her. So like it's one like those or remind me in certain because those things that my mama put in me, but it was
Right, right. That's what I'm sitting
like
here thinking because you said love her. I'm like, okay, you mean
yeah,
specifically or do you mean
yeah.
overall?
You know what I'm saying? Those things that my mama always put in me, but she had to bring them back out of me, and then I told you like my change came in where I was getting on Cherish
Oh
about
man.
being an example to Armani because she a mirror of her mama, but I wasn't performing as a peak man because I'm the first example of a man to my daughter.
Facts.
So this
Facts.
year, you know what I'm saying? Like I start opening Cher's door, and Armani was doing it too. And I had told her, I'm like, baby, you don't open up the door for women. Men open up the door for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
keep this, bro. It was the boy, the proudest father moment ever, but one of the funniest. So
Right.
I was dropping her off yesterday to my mama, or the other day to my mama or whatnot. And I'm down in my phone, and I look to the side, and she was telling me to roll down the window, like, Daddy, roll down the window. And I was like, what's up? And she was like, get out and open my door. And I'm like, and I just looked at her. I'm like, you right. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Like, you right. You don't let no
What you
man.
thought? You already taught me.
Right. Like, you sitting in this car, and I'm right here. You better get your butt out and open the door. And I'm
Right.
like, talking about because my daughter gonna be something
I
like because
respect that.
I'm setting standards. And I'm telling you, man, anybody that's gonna step because I used to be, and that just come in my growth. That just shows my growth in general, man. Because I used to be on the tip where I used to be like on a money tip, like any dude step to her, they gonna have to be this and this, that and that. Like they gonna have
Mm-mm.
to know. But no, it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't. I don't care. I don't care what you got in your bank account,
It's
but
more than
you,
that.
you you gonna treat my daughter how she knows she can be treated because I showed her the
Facts.
blue. I don't treat her mama no less, and that's all that she done seen. So
Yep. Yep. As you
you
should. Yep.
and I don't care what type of relationship it is or what type of lifestyle you choose to live, but these are standards. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like you know these the standards. So yeah, that's that. I
Bro.
know it kind of went off, but it
No,
all
no, no.
ties
You
into
good. You good.
reinsurance.
Because there's something in it that you did say that made me reflect on a conversation I had with my dad yesterday, and I'm still tied into reassurance. Um, you were saying how she taught you, or she reminded you of how to love her, but at the end of the day, your mom had already instilled that in you. Period. Just how to love overall, and that made me think about the conversation I had with my dad yesterday. We was talking about the different things that's going on in the world, uh, period, from political down to just kids, regular stuff in life or whatnot. And I was saying, well, we was both saying, but I had brought up the fact that it's something how a lot of the standards and the foundation that I was raised upon, of course, through mom and dad, was they're like the basic necessities of just being an individual and being able to act. I don't want to say act, but really perform properly in whatever engagement it is that you're going to have on your own journey in life. And we was talking about the morals and ethics and whatnot, and I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure there's a certain age group right now that you can ask and be like, what morals you stand on, or what principles do you believe in as an individual? And they'll probably be like, I don't even know what that is. What's morals? What's ethics? And I was like, dang, and stuff like that. It makes you appreciate everything that was instilled in you when you was younger. And it's like, you know what? That reassured me of the fact that I'm appreciative of what he instilled in me, and yet knowing that those are the things that made me who I am now, and I continue to build off of that.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is that's going on outside of myself, whether it's the president or it's corona, family, individual stuff, business, whatever it may be, as long as I know what I have and the foundation that I'm building off of and my own morals and ethics, I can continue to engage properly without even stressing my own self out. And plus, that still stacks on top of what we were saying earlier. That freedom is just, man, okay, I know how to move, I know how to act in my own life and journey, all because of what was instilled in me. Just remembering that, and sometimes we was even talking about like,
That's how you get yourself that reinsurance.
right, got to go back, and we was talking about going back and even just reading a book. He was talking about a book that he had when he was younger, made me think about books nowadays. I'm like, yo, stuff like that, man. It really made me feel appreciative. It really reassured me on the way that I'm moving in life. Period.
Yep, absolutely. And but I think what's more, you know, just for me, what's
Okay.
more is reassuring for me is that I can take that these things were instilled in me,
Hmm.
but I'm not afraid to challenge them if it don't sit right with my spirit. You
Oh
know,
yeah, no, definitely,
know
definitely.
what I mean? And
We
I
talked
think
about that with religion plenty of time.
absolutely, and that's why I was saying me being at a place where I feel like I don't have to, I can use God and universe
Hmm.
interchangeably and not explain myself.
Yeah.
It's an ultimate level of freedom because I'm like, what? Who I'm explaining it to? Like, if you don't
Facts.
get it ain't your job to understand my perspective. What keep me in tune with myself? It ain't none of my
Mm.
it
You know
ain't
what?
really it ain't none of my business. What you think about my business? Be quite honest. That's your business.
No, you're right. You're
I don't-
right. You're right. I mean, it's true. I mean, I do that all the time. That's something. That is something though.
yeah,
Is
man.
I'm
It's
trying
one
to
of your
force people to understand how I see things, but yeah, at the
yeah.
end of the day,
You can't
it's me
you can't
seeing it.
you can't because people see things when they ready to see things, and just when they ready to see in their journey. Like man, I told you, man, me and Cherish was just talking this morning where she was telling me some stuff, and that's another reason why I know I'm free, and I'm just like in
Yeah.
that ultimate level peak vibration because she was telling me some stuff like, yeah, I remember when you was telling me don't worry, and then I was doing the cars and Taisha was telling me the same thing with it and whatnot, and I had no type of spirit come over me where it was like, see what I told you so. Like I had no type of spirit like that come over me. It was just like a gratitude. I had gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I was
Mm,
grateful that she was at that point. Because
mm,
what I know what it has done for me, and then just her being my lady and knowing that our energies are intertwined. I'm like, oh yeah, I got my queen power now. I got this king power over here with me, and we put that together.
right,
Like
right, right, right,
now it's this energy force where we peaking at the highest level. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
right.
that's why I was saying my investment has cashed in tenfold to return the investment on her, man. 'Cause I'm telling you, I didn't put some, and I was, man, and it's just amazing because I had moments where I was like, I don't know, and I had never got like that. That's how I knew it was like all the other shit that I
Yeah,
wasn't dealing with. I almost threw away, gave up on my greatest fucking investment I probably ever invested in this lifetime. I almost gave
right,
up on all of that, because I wasn't dealing with some shit. So, and I still,
right.
got a lot of stuff to work out and, get better. But that's just life. Like if you at a point where you feel like you, you know, you done evolving. Like that's
Oh,
you
no, no, no.
right.
No,
You
no,
gon' you gonna lose soon as that thought come into your head.
man.
You know what
Heck
I'm saying?
no.
So when I mention and say things like at that peak level, that means just my vibration side where my mind is clear, I'm free, and I can
Right.
react. And I'm like, oh, this needs to be an adjustment I need to make here. You know,
You
and
know
then
what?
I mean,
That,
I have even created some more disciplines that I talked to you about in the past, where I was like, I need to do this, and you know what I'm saying. And I created those disciplines to where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really on another level because I'm doing that. So
more than confident. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like all of those moments, I call it divine energy. That's what I mean. Like everything you're talking about, I call that divine energy because it's like every time I'm acting within that divine energy at the end of the day for myself. And I said this yesterday was it never fails, like period. And that's not on a cocky tip. Like every time I do this, I've always succeeded. I've never failed. I'm perfect. It's just no. When I'm really acting in that mode, when I have that energy, when I feel that divine energy and I'm acting on it, things are just coming across smoothly or whatnot. Starting it as smoothly, the execution and everything. And I don't even have to have a conclusion or a proper understanding of how it may end, but just me acting on it has always like fell in my favor just because of that. And knowing the
no,
difference of when I'm acting in that moment compared to when I'm just doing something, I can easily see when I'm just doing something, I can spot all type of errors and mishaps here. But when I'm doing it over here, it's like,
facts,
bro, that's perfect. And it just
facts.
came out that way.
And that's what I said. That's why I said it's so important to be free because you can act on that thought and you can just let it flow.
Yes.
And see, and
Yes.
then you're not second guessing yourself.
Nope.
Like your freeness and your oneness with yourself is your reassurance that
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I follow this thought, if I follow this thought through, it's going to lead me somewhere great.
Right. Exactly. That
It's
part.
going to lead me somewhere great. But then when you're not one within yourself, you follow that thought, and you be like, oh, I need to change this.
You
I
be
need to do
right.
this. Hold on, no,
Overthinking. You're all over the place.
there you go. You all over the place. Like, oh yeah, I got this idea. Let me do this. I'm gonna do this. So then we're gonna do blah blah blah. No, no.
Nah.
So
Nah,
so you
fam.
tone you when you free, you tone it in, and then you just can go flow. And then when you get stuck, you don't force it. You just put it down. You go to the next thing. You start working over
Yo,
there. And you
exactly.
like, oh, let me go back. Like that's what I wanted to do right there. Like I knew it'd come back to me.
Yo, yes, yes. That's what I'm going through that right now. Like I ain't tripping about it with me being sick or whatnot for about a week and a half, and then coming back. Like at first I was tripping about it, but I'm like, man, it is what it is. And now, like yesterday, I think it was, I was like, oh snap, this came back around full circle, and I wasn't even tripping about it. I was like, oh, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Like I can't help but not worry about something like that. Like if I'm worrying, it's outside of me. It's probably like brother, sister, or family or something like that. A situation that's going on outside of me. But in regards to myself, nah, man. Nope, not happening. Not happening at all. It's too easy for me to spot the difference and knowing the feeling that I have when I'm engaged in that mode. Period. And you know what? That could be a way for other people to really find that reassurance for themselves. Like when you get that specific moment, that energy, I would say act on it in that moment. It's a train it's a training discipline, whatever you want to call it. You got to practice that.
I love that. I love it. I
But
love it.
when you get that feeling of, or just the feeling, a voice in the back of your head, whatever, when you get that, just act on it as soon as you get it. Whatever it is, just act on it. Practice that. And then over time, you will see the difference when you're acting in that moment compared to when you're just doing it. And you'll be like, oh, snap, that's a different conclusion. I wasn't even expecting that.
Absolutely, because it comes more natural than like it's more it's more natural because it
Yeah,
comes from a place of peace and not from a
facts.
place of where you're just trying to force outcomes and just force things, man. It just go it's just amazing how this episode just coming,
It
just
really is.
coming
It's
full circle to everything we talk about, and that is totally not how it was meant to be. And yeah, that is totally not how it meant to
mm-mm.
be. So that's just divine right there.
No, this is right. Like that sentence right before you just said, it's something how this episode just came right around to everything we just said. Right before you said that, you know those deja vu moments when you have it in a dream, and then real life happened. You be like, oh snap, this is the spot I was in the dream when this said
Right,
this and this happened.
right. I
I
do, I
just
do.
had that moment, so it's like, oh snap, wait a minute,
We've
deja
been
vu.
been
Wait,
away
what?
from the desk too long. That's what it was.
Oh
We
man,
needed reinsurance.
you know what? You know what?
We needed to reinsure ourselves that we still had the
For
juice.
real, for real. That you
Like
know what? You're right. That's
for
exactly what that
real,
was.
for real, and like, and
We on the
now that
right path, boy.
I'm thinking about past episodes and stuff. Reinsurance. Remember, I used to talk about routine, your routine. I got back to fully into my routine with my meditation. I was talking to D Walk, our wonderful producer in the back, that's switching our camera angles.
Dun, dun, dun.
If our YouTube audience like, ooh, like they done had camera angle switching, yeah, that's our guy D Walk. He do our graphics, all our graphics and producing tip. So now y'all kind of seeing him like actually on the show, but he always doing something behind scenes
And he's an
for
AI. He's a robot. We actually bought him for a lot of money, so y'all can't find him nowhere else. He's unique. He's one of a kind.
uh I would contest that because I don't know. I'm gonna protest that one because everything y'all see would be a service at one point. So we ain't gotta keep them to ourselves, man. Keep 'em to ourselves.
No, it's mine.
We gonna get blessed. We gonna get blessed because man,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
we gonna spread the wealth and give everybody the juice.
Oh man.
And, well, I kind of lost my chain of thought.
No, you
Yeah.
you was saying in relation, because what you said made me think about our previous episodes. You was kind of hinting on the fact of respecting stuff that you've done in the past, and that made me think about respecting the walkthrough that you've already had, which we've talked about before in our episodes as well. Like you've already made steps in your process in your own life for you to abandon whatever it is that you already got going on, whether you don't feel like you should do it or you're not confident in the fact that you can do it. You're low key just disrespecting your own walkthrough because of the process you've had.
Absolutely. And
So now,
that's why you my guy, and that was our standing say too. I got to give you kudos on camera with that. You say the conversation of our flow. That's what I was gonna talk about because I was that's how
oh,
I got
I
on
brought
D.
you back.
You did. That's how I got on.
What?
Yeah, because that's how I got on D Walk and got off subject because
What?
I was talking to him about it before we started recording. I got back into fully doing my routine this week and consistently doing my meditations.
Okay.
I would never stop and unconsistently off and on again because man, when I tell you, I'm like, that's my way in the morning of reassuring myself that I'm gonna have a good day,
Mm-hmm.
a great day. Getting up, meditating, releasing everything, just getting a clear mind,
Mm-hmm.
getting that workout in, doing my visualizing, visualizing certain scenarios, situations or whatnot in the
Right.
future or whatnot. So yeah, that just goes back. Like you gotta find those little things
Right.
um to do day in and day out to give yourself reinsurance that you gotta have your back. Like I got 4 things that I'm locking in just with myself personally that I'm focusing on this year with just my personality and the way I move and execute.
Mm.
Being assertive, not getting outworked, and telling myself it's okay to be selfish to get the job done
Mm.
and take care of yourself so you can take care of them. Like those 4 things is what I keep myself that I'm working on this year to keep myself within myself to give myself reinsurance that I can do it.
Mm.
Like so if I'm
Bars.
staying so if I know, right? So if I'm working in those four in those, you funny. Run that shit back. Giving myself reassurance that I can do it.
Right, right.
Yeah, so work in those three levels, and then everything else gonna
Fall in
play
play.
out, fall in place for itself.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. No, this was a good one. I like this. I like
It
this a
was.
lot.
Let's you got our cards ready, so we can finish off with the inspired thought. I meant to ask you beforehand so we have them ready so you won't have to do this, but it's all good. So what we about to do, everybody, to end the episode, he got these cards that he read like I want to
Dun,
say they
dun, dun,
questions
dun.
if I remember right, they questions or something, and he gonna read it off and we gonna give our thoughts on it, and
Yes.
that's how we gonna leave y'all every
Yes.
episode.
Yes. Yes.
Some weeks it might just that might be the end of it. I might like the thought so good we might take it on to the next episode and it be the topic of the whole. We set the foundation for the next episode. So what you got?
Carpool. All right. Two questions, one card. Have you ever? Can you recall an especially awkward moment within your own self confidence? The other
Can I?
one, I don't want to ask that.
Why? Now you got me curious.
I mean, we can. It's just not fitting. Have you ever been in a fight and what happened?
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah.
Right. The other one, though, can you recall an especially awkward moment within your own self confidence?
Oh,
God,
where you
that's
had to remind yourself who the fuck you was. I know
yeah, yeah,
that's basically what that
yeah.
is. Where you recall the moment. Oh
Jesus,
yeah, like I took
man.
what through the whole end of my last year with the whole the slight depression and me being unsure about if I could keep fighting and
Right.
if it was worth even fighting for anymore. um, Absolutely. Like I had to give myself a nice smack on myself on my head and like remind myself who the fuck I was. Like, boy, if you don't get within yourself
Better
and,
get yourself
and
together.
shake right, exactly. Shake this off and figure this out. We gonna have a problem.
All right. Well, I got man.
That's me. So
I got an answer. All right. All right. I ain't gonna. I don't want it to be too dark, but I do have an answer. When I was I don't even know how many people know this, to be honest. But okay, when I was younger, I'm gonna say middle school. Well, pick a number age wise. I don't care. Middle school. Um, Around that time, I was always in the hospital, like a lot. It felt like damn near every week, every few days or whatever. I'm going back to the hospital in pain, back and forth with sickle cell, whatnot, and all through middle school up until the point to where you about to leave and go to high school, like going through that nonstop. I was man, I was just tired of it. I was just tired of everything. I'm like, bro, I'm tired of going through this, blah blah blah. I'm tired of being in pain. I'm tired of not being able to do this. I'm tired of not being able to engage in things that I want to do in life. Like my confidence was just at all time low on everything. I was just tired of everything in that regards. And one of the, one of those days I had came home and like I was just mad depressed or whatnot. And I sat there and I was like, you know what? Maybe maybe this world is better off without me. It was one of those type of situations. And I sat there and thought about it. Like I really, really thought about. And I was like, you know what? How would that affect my family? How would that affect everybody else outside of myself that really know me or whatnot? And thinking about that, I was like, dang, this is something that will stick with them forever. At the end of the day, no matter what, I'll do more harm to them, even if I feel like I'm doing harm or presenting harm to them now. It'd be even greater if I wasn't, if I was to act on that. And I was like, you know what? If I feel like this and I feel like I don't matter now, what can I do to make me look at things as if everything matters about me? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to present everything that I'm thinking and flip it at the end of the day. Because in that moment, I was also aware of the fact that I'm sitting here going through different thoughts of, if not, this is a good or bad idea. Like thinking about it off rip, you like, no, that's a horrible idea. Like, why would you even think that? But me being aware of the fact that I'm really sitting here thinking and making choices on which one is greater or worse or whatnot, I'm like, yo, I hear I hear stories like this all the time. And I'm like, for me to sit here and really negotiate or have different thoughts in my head on what should and shouldn't happen, I wonder if I can help other people think about things in their lowest moments or whatnot. And that's when I was like, you know what? F it. Next time I get sick, I'm just going to flip everything on his head. And the next time I got sick, that was like the worst crisis I've ever been in. I had pain in my legs, my arms, or whatnot. It hurt to walk. It hurt to sit down. It didn't matter. But at that point, I was already walking. I was mad at nurses and doctors. I was just pissed. I was crying and cursing and everything. But I was like, you know what? F it. I'm gonna fight this, and I'm gonna flip it and turn it into something else. And I don't know. It went from the worst moment ever to the most appreciative moment ever by the time I got discharged. And I was like, you know what? That moment of pain and suffering and understanding and awareness was a moment where I had to really believe in myself. And when I did that, that's when that self-confidence kicked in. I was like, oh man, what? That was the lowest moment ever in my life, and I'm done with that? Okay. Okay. All right. I'm about to continue on this path from here on out. So that's my awkward moment of reassuring like my own self confidence. It was the lowest of low, but I was like, I did it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's that's what's up. As always, you got a long-winded boy that took it
yeah,
through
you know,
through the finish line and through
you
the
know,
finish line.
you know,
Y'all,
you know.
thank y'all for tuning in this week. Y'all make sure y'all get our go rate us on the streaming platforms and leave a review and let's make a stop three
Right.
of 2021 podcast.
Facts.
Love y'all. See y'all next week. Let's create.
Let's create.